What's up, Kingdom Builder? Hey, do you need a miracle in your life? Because if so, I'm going to share with you a story how I need one and how I was able to break through because of God's ways and how you can as well too. And stay tuned till the end. We have a special offer and some Q&A as well too. So comment below if you have any questions as we go through this. But if that sounds like something interesting, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube, be sure to do that because we're going to put this plus a lot of other cool information as well. And life will be amazing. But hey, if you need a miracle in your life right now, comment me below. Because the first part of experiencing a miracle is admitting that we need one. Now you might be thinking, well, James, what do you know about a miracle? Well, a year ago to this date, I was in a place that I was in absolute desperation. Have you been in a place where you needed not just a breakthrough, but a miraculous breakthrough? And I appreciate the transparency. And what happened was we were locking into our dream home. It was looking good. And 2 days after we got the news that we were about to get our dream home, this was something we had on a vision board, we were praying about, we were waiting for. We lost our down payment with an investment gone bad, doomsday situation. Now that by itself is already horrible. But what made it even more horrible, see, we knew that we could work harder. We have our business so we could generate more income. But soon afterwards, to make matters worse, we found out that the company that we were partnered with, that we generate our main income from, was going bankrupt as well. So think about it this way. What would you do if you just lost your down payment for a house that you were praying for, and that the way that you could make money was in jeopardy? That was a moment where I was flat on my back. It stressed out our marriage, it stressed out our relationship. We lost hope. And maybe that's where you find yourself in an area in your life. Maybe it's in your finances, in your health, maybe it's in your family. Like, I don't know where it is, but if you need a miracle, then I have good news for you, because God has things that he says, principles that if you apply them can absolutely transform. So what ended up happening is I'm in Tahiti. We had won a company trip with our previous company. And that was one of those trips where you're like, man, I just want to tune out my brain. Like, we don't know where to do. And in earshot, I hear actually who become our future partner and founder. I hear of the word fast for the very first time. And fasting, now that's a word that I never thought about before. Like, I knew about intermittent fasting. I knew about the benefits of it physically. I'm in the health and wellness industry. But when it came to the spiritual side, all of a sudden it started to get me to remember stories of people like Jesus, who fasted 40 days, 40 nights before he got into his public ministry. Moses he fasted actually twice for 40 days as he was getting the 10 commandments. In fact, all throughout the Bible, it's interesting. People like King David fasted, Esther fasted, the early disciples in the early church fasted when they were making a big decision. Have you fasted before? If you have, put a 2 in the comments below. And I heard this word fasting, and I never did a prolonged fast because, to be honest, I'm a big foodie. I love eating. Maybe you're like me as well too. But I was in a place and I'm like, God, maybe there's this thing about fasting. I don't know. Like, I've tried everything out there, but there's nothing to lose. Or what is it to lose, but nothing to lose. So I ended up starting a fast. And for 7 days, I fasted. I did a water-only fast. Now, there's many different types of fast, but I did a water-only fast. And through that, I prayed. And I read his word. There's a formula. There's a principle that if you fast, if you pray, if you read God's word, that's how God can really start to connect with you. And within 7 days, miracles happened. The first miracle was that I could even fast for 7 days. I mean, I'm the type of person that would normally, after I eat breakfast, I think about lunch and I think about dinner. I don't know if you're like that. I am. Comment a 3 if you're like that. For me, I love eating. So that was the first big thing when I realized, wow, I could actually fast for that long. It was actually much easier than expected. But besides that, business miracles started to happen. Besides that, financial miracles happen. Besides that, things in my relationship happen. Normally, my male ego will come up, for example. My wife's trying to help me with something. And then all of a sudden, I was able to, by God's grace, get through that. And I was like super low ego. And long story short, a year later, we bought our home. a year later, business is the best it has ever been in my entire career. Our marriage is stronger than it's ever been before. And I know it was because I followed and was obedient to God's principles, what I call the miraculous breakthrough formula of fasting, prayer, and Bible study. If that sounds like something interesting to you, put a me in the comments below. Because what ended up happening was this. It was not a part of the plan, but I felt prompted after that much of an experience. I felt God said, hey, write it in a book and put it together. So 10 days after I completed that fast, I wrote my first book called The Miraculous Breakthrough Formula. Never wrote a book. I'm not a biblical scholar. Didn't know much about this, but did a lot of studies and due diligence. And I started to understand that there's so many principles of what happens on what we did. Let me describe it real quick. 3 parts of this formula if you want to achieve a breakthrough, a miracle in your life. Number 1, fasting. Why? Because if you want a miracle in your life, a miracle means it has to be something that's not natural, means it's something from God. So we need to be able to connect with the supernatural, above natural, to God. So what these 3 aspects do is they draw you closer to Him, because the miracle happens not because we're amazing. The miracle happens because He's amazing. Hey, if you agree that God is incredible, comment amen below. So the first part to being able to seek His presence further is number 1, fasting. What is fasting? Fasting is starving the flesh so that you can feed the spirit. Fasting is abstaining typically from food, while you can fast other things as well too, but food in the Bible, so that you can really tune in with His Spirit more. You know, the number 1 thing that holds us back from breakthrough is not any type of limiting belief. It's not any type of bad thing that we've done, but literally it's our stomach. Think about it very practically. Right? If you want God more, but you're thinking about a sandwich more, I mean, so many times we're going for instant gratification rather than seeking Him more. So when you fast, you're disciplining your body. When you fast, you're just withholding yourself and withdrawing yourself from worldly pleasures, from instant gratification, so that then you are more in tune with the spiritual side of yourself. So number 1 in this formula is fasting. Fasting. Number 2 is prayer. Prayer is talking with God and Him talking with you. Prayer is being able to connect back with God. If you want to have a miracle, if you want to have His presence, if we never talk to Him, well, He's not going to talk back. God is a loving God. He's a relational God. He's not the type that wants to impose Himself on us. So we have to spend time in prayer. In prayer, there's many ways to do it, but it's an intention. It's a heart. It's a honest want to be able to connect with Him. So you fast to starve the body to feed the spirit. What's up, Simone? You pray so that you can reconnect yourself back with God. And then the third aspect to this miraculous breakthrough formula is you read God's word. If you've ever wanted to hear from God, the best way to hear from God is not in a waiting for an audible voice. It's not waiting for some flash of revelation. It's not even necessarily going to church. The best way to hear what God said is read what He's said already. If you believe that the Bible is God's inerrant word, I do believe that, then the best way to hear from God or to know His voice is just to read what He's already said through His inspired text, right? So pick up His word, whether it's a digital copy or I got a copy of the Bible here as well too, and I just started to read through this. And what's amazing is when you fast and you disconnect yourself from the world, you pray where you reconnect yourself back with Him, and then you read His word to have Him speak with you, things start to shift and things start to transform your life in the most incredible of ways. And that's how miracles start to happen. It's that simple. Now, it seems so simple that it's like, will it really work? Well, in this last year, we've had the benefit of walking a lot of people through this. So I wrote the book, I launched it. To everyone that's already read this, thank you for that. It was a big step of faith for me ever even writing something. And this is not, I don't believe this is my book. This is his stuff that I'm just being obedient, right? I don't want to be right. I just want him to be right. And we've seen hundreds of people actually purchase the book. We've ran fasting challenges. We're now seeing breakthroughs happen. I've seen, for sake of example, one of my friends, Jimmy, he's a solar business consultant. He ran through this with us. He's very strong-minded, very strong-willed. He's a mastermind. He's done all different types of things as an entrepreneur. But when he went through this challenge with us, within 7 days, he landed a business contract that was the biggest contract that he ever had his entire life. Multi-million-dollar business contract. He said it was directly because of going through this fast. Tamra, another amazing kingdom entrepreneur friend of mine. She runs many events, FounderCon, done incredible things, an amazing woman of faith, an amazing mom, amazing entrepreneur. But she had decided to go through this. She had never done more than like half a day of fasting. And she did this with us. And she said to me that it was the most breakthrough time that she's had in her spiritual life. She was actually able to make a major decision that would forever change her business, her connections. That was a very positive thing because she went through that. I have another friend of mine that had gone through decades of therapy, trying to work through a lack of forgiveness in her life and could never break through in that. Do you experience any difficulty with forgiving someone? Went through this fast and was able to, in the first day, release anger, release forgiveness, and was just good. Better than decades of therapy. Once again, this is not because the book's amazing or I'm amazing. It's because when you seek his presence, his power comes from his presence. And the fastest way to be able to do that, the simplest way to do that is when you fast, you pray, you read his word. So I've just seen miracle after miracle after miracle. I've seen so many people now that it still blows my mind. Because if you've tried to do whatever that it takes to achieve a breakthrough, maybe you've gone to the coaching, maybe you've gone to all the sermons that you can, maybe you've even been praying diligently, maybe you've been trying to be a good person, but you're at that place where you're like, I need something more. And maybe you find yourself in a place like I was just 1 year ago. And I said, I was desperate. I was hungry. Exactly. My friend Brooke says, Jesus says, man can't live on bread alone. I mean, if Jesus needed to fast to get breakthrough, how much more do we need to as well too? So consider, try it, give it a shot, fast for a little bit. Maybe a good time during the holidays, maybe a good time right before Thanksgiving, or maybe during the before Christmas, wherever that it is. It's all about the heart. It's all about the heart. So to recap, the Miraculous Breakthrough Formula. Number 1, fast to disconnect yourself from your flesh, your body. Number 2, prayer to reconnect yourself back to him. And number 3 is to read his word, so God can speak with you. You do those 3 things, you go in expectant and just continue to just seek him more. I'm telling you, now, at least for me and so many of my friends, it has led to the biggest amount of breakthroughs in our lives ever. To this day, I still regularly fast and pray at least once a week now, and sometimes do even more extended ones as well too. So if that was interesting, I'll do a Q&A in just a little bit, but I'm doing a special offer. I mentioned I had this book, and it's hundreds of people have gone through this already. But not only do I have a book, but how nice would it be if I could walk you through how to do this exactly? What if I could actually lead you through this process? You're fasting right now? Awesome. That's the way to do it. Not only with the book, but I've actually already also, let me pull this up real quick. I've also created a video course with lessons on how to do this. What are the ways to do it? With a Bible study, with devotionals, with how to exit this as well too, and everything. So I have a whole video course along with this. Normally that video course is actually $297. The paperback is usually $15, and then the ebook version is $7. For just the holidays, for a limited amount of time, I'm giving a holiday bundle. If you want to get the video course, you want to get the book and the ebook, You can gift it to people. You can do whatever that you want. Lifetime access. Normally, it's $319 for everything. For just the holidays, it's a one-time payment of $47. It's 85% off. And I'm telling you, I've spent literally, let me do the math, 1,000 times more. I've spent 1,000 times more on coaching. And still to this day, this has been the most incredible breakthrough that I've ever received. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, you can grab it from the link below or shoot me a message and I can give you some more information on that. It's a limited time only, just $47. My friend Shirley, that's in a different country, I think she's in Papua New Guinea, just got that bundle. So I'm super excited for you as well. Blanca, yeah, if you want to grab it, just grab it from the link below and it'd be super fun to be able to do this together. But with that said, hey, I'll open this up for any Q&A or any comments at all. But is there anything at all that you have in mind in terms of fasting or in terms of this book or anything that we talked about? One common one, I'll go through some of the questions that I'm getting. Number one, people have asked, well, do I have to do a water-only fast? Or what kinds of fasts are there? So in the Bible, there's a couple different types of fasts that have been given, that they've been documented. One is called a dry fast, which I wouldn't recommend. A dry fast is literally no food and no water. Now, just know the human body cannot go more than 3 days without water. So dry fast, Moses did do a dry fast, but that was like a God-led type of thing, There's then a water-only fast. That's what Jesus did. That's what Esther also did a dry fast as well too. But water only is typically the biblical fast. But if you want, there's also, they call it a Daniel fast. A Daniel fast is technically not a fast. It's more like a diet. But it's what Daniel did when he was in a desperate situation and he needed to get God's presence. And basically, you can call it kind of like a raw food vegan diet. And he didn't eat good food. He didn't drink anything like any alcohol or good beverage. Basically, it was just eating the base necessities, right? That's okay. Intermittent fasting, you can definitely do as well too. But the biggest answer that I would have to, what kind of fasts are there and is there a right way of fasting? It's all about the heart. God doesn't care. We're not in a ritualistic type of thing, right? It's not like, oh, I have to do this. Like Jesus actually went against the Pharisees of his time because they went to Jesus and were like, hey, we fast all the time. We pray all the time. Like, what does it take for us to inherit the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus basically called them out and said, hey, it's not about the religious acts that you're doing. It's about your heart, right? So do what God's prompting you to do. For me, it was a 7-day water only fast. For others, it's a 1-day thing. Like it just depends on you, Eve asked, will you be doing a group fast and prayer? I haven't set one up personally yet. I'm considering it. I think it might be a good one to do. Perhaps sometime during December, I should do one. But if that's something you're interested in, especially once people just let me know and we'll see what we can do. There is a group right now, Eva, if you are interested. My friend Buddy Rivera, shout out to Buddy. He's leading a fasting group right now. He just started a 3-day fast. So if you want to join that, I can link you to his group and you can join that fast as well too. Any other questions as well that we have? Yeah, so it's safe. It's very, very safe to be able to do. If you're using meds, if you have medical conditions, I think it's always good to be able to consult a physician, so just in case. Your church does a Daniel fast every January, it's good. Corporate fasts are powerful because then you have the power of just group confirmation and group motivation, which is always a good thing to do. But yeah, just a regularly time. Yeah, you did one with Buddy before. It was a lot of fun. So just a regular time to be able to fast and just seek his guidance. It's about how do I just stay in his presence as much as possible, And especially, I'd encourage, especially if you're in a place right now where you feel like you're kind of out of control. You feel like you're just going down this spiral and you feel like there's no footing. You don't know where to start. That's probably a real good place to start type of a fast. Yeah, Eva, I'll add you to that. So, and just start. And as you start, just expect that God will meet you in your needs. What makes this different than a diet this isn't just a diet. Fasting isn't just a diet. While there are a lot of health benefits to it, which, by the way, things like boosting up your human growth hormone when you fast for more than one day, things like boosting up your stem cell activation so you literally start to regenerate cells again, things like burning fat and putting your body into keto state, things like getting younger and actually autophagy. There's actually a lot of really cool scientific biological stuff physically that happens. Don't you know that God just knows this stuff? Isn't that amazing? Yes, that's great. But also, when you do it spiritually and you're really seeking God's presence in it, you're not just relying on your willpower, you're really relying on His power. And that's what makes it all different. That's how, at least I know for me, I was able to go 7 days without food, and it was relatively easy. Actually, my cravings went away after the first day. A lot of people experience that. And you're like, wow, this is actually not as hard as it seems, So, but I'd encourage you to just start something like that. So anywho, once again, if you have any other questions about it, feel free to comment that below. For just while time lasts, I do have a holiday special. If you want to grab the Miraculous Breakthrough Formula holiday bundle, you get the paperback, the ebook, and the video course, which is normally $319 for just $47, 85% off. You have lifetime access. If you're interested in that, there's a Square link you can grab. It should be in the bio, it should be in the caption, or shoot me a message about it. I can definitely grab you that. But other than that, hey, God bless. Having an amazing holidays and talk soon. Bye-bye.